Welcome, everybody, to this special edition of our Academy of Insurance After Show. I'm Patrick Wraight. I'm the Director of Education, de facto host today. And with me today is our instructor for today's class, How to Write Umbrella. We have Janessa Vanderheyden.
Crushed it.
Senior underwriter at Monoline. Janessa, great to see you today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So this is, kind of the How to Write series is all about people being successful writing particular lines of business. And I was very excited to do a session on umbrella, especially a personal umbrella, because it's not a product that gets a whole lot of attention, I don't think. What is something about personal umbrella that people need to know?
I think the biggest thing to know is just how relevant umbrella and that extra liability piece is, right? How important it is, especially on the auto portion. We do tons of research on just the umbrella and what we're seeing trending. And I think if you would have asked me that question 3 to 5 years ago, I think umbrellas probably wouldn't have been the main topic anymore. And now just in this short amount of time, they are one of the biggest topics, I would say, in insurance right now. So I think the biggest thing about an umbrella and just how important it is to secure that extra layer and that safety net for your client is something that you are going to see just continue becoming more and more popular too.
Yeah. And, the advertising, especially in the personal line space, tends to be, hey, we can save you 15%, or hey, just buy what you need. But really what we're dealing with here is people who are aware, at least marginally aware of the risk that home ownership, driving. I think I saw that you're willing to put an umbrella over watercraft.
Yep.
Motorcycles.
Yep. And I think those, again, I don't feel like people understand the risk that they're taking when they're on those watercraft or those motorcycles, especially when, like that example that I gave you, that's what we like to call a black swan event. You don't ever you never know when it's going to happen, but when it does happen, it's big, it's catastrophic. You want to make sure that you have the insurance in place to help cover your insured. And I think the biggest piece for me as an underwriter and coming into this space of umbrellas is how important education is. So that's why I love doing these type of webinars, because I think it's so important to help educate agents so that they can educate their clients on what's happening out there right now. I think we see the auto trending with some of the largest liability claims that personal lines has ever seen in these last couple of years. I think also we see a lot right now that a lot of people don't have insurance. So when they get into an accident, that's when that UM/UIM is starting to pop up, right, too. So I think it's just, again, I think for me, it's that educational piece of making sure that everybody understands why umbrellas are so important. And they're only going to keep becoming more important. Like I said in the webinar, I think you're going to see umbrellas take on this shift of kind of having their own vertical of insurance. It's not going to be a part of that package anymore. Of course, if you still can package it, obviously you want to do that for your client, but you're going to start seeing it become its own vertical of insurance. How you saw flood break off and become its own insurance, how you see hurricane insurance come in and kind of start its own vertical. Umbrellas are right there, and we're in the middle of it right now. So I think it's just such an important topic for everybody to be educated on, because everybody should be offering their clients that piece.
Sure. And as we were looking at it, it seems like, umbrella is not a terribly expensive product in many instances. And you were talking about you don't rate based off of what the vehicle is, just the number of vehicles.
Yeah. And I think that's something that when the 4 co-founders were talking about what product they should choose to do this with, when you think of an umbrella, they're super, super high volume. But as soon as you start touching them, you start losing money, because that's the first thing you think of. So that's why we chose the umbrella product to really focus on, because we are free. An umbrella, to quote and bind an umbrella and manage a policy, it should not be taking you that long. It should be really easy. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. And so, yeah, I think, like I said, you're paying really low premiums, but for millions of dollars of coverage for those black swan incidences that you may think never even happened to you. But if it does happen to you, you're going to want that in place for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I noticed that you quote UM as a separate piece. Are you seeing a lot of uptake with that? Do you see it's people are taking that?
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the most important pieces of the umbrella policy right now. Especially, I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but it's really that auto part that we're seeing those losses come through. So I know that UIM piece is really, really important to have on there too.
Yeah, I mean, and when you think about it, some reasonably responsible people who maybe homeowners, they've got a 1-3 on their home. They're thinking, man, we're just trying to build up a life here. They're growing, and then they go to their auto and they look at the price they're paying, and people are allowed to get state minimums.
I know.
And then when something happens, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They've got this small stack of money, and it almost becomes a responsibility of each of us to say, you know what, I better stack the cards in my favor a little bit, get my coverage or whatever I can do, especially and on the umbrella side as well.
Yeah, and I think that's where we play such an important role, and the agent in place plays such an important role, is because we need to be educating the client of why they should be raising those limits. And we need to be putting into perspective, okay, you may think this may not happen to you, but in the chance that it does, you want those higher limits. I'm just a strong proponent on always having those higher limits too, especially being in the market and seeing what's happening. Everyone, I just got a new car and I was like, highest limits you can offer me. I don't care. I want everything on there, all the bells and whistles. But I think that's such an important piece, is again, that education piece, because an insured, they're just going to say, just give me whatever I need, you think you need. And you should be the ones being able to sit down and really put into perspective, okay, this is what could happen if you don't have those limits. Also, I want to offer you an umbrella policy too. I mean, that also comes from an E&O standpoint as the agent too. And that's something that we want to be able to help you provide, is making that super easy to jump into our system, take 5 minutes out of your day to quote it up, offer it with what you're already offering your client. And then if anything were to happen, you can be like, I offered them the umbrella. So it's also a safety net for you as an agency as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw that, I noticed that with the quoting process, allowing them to generate a signature page and agents love to have a signature when somebody rejects coverage, right? Because later on the E&O that you mentioned. So the fact that your system will work through everything that's kind of inside the underwriting box, that's fantastic. That means that you get to see the interesting things. What's the most interesting thing you've seen so far?
Ooh, it's going to be those target risks that come through, because we write those higher profile people. So we've seen some pretty cool people come through. But I think one thing that's really important here at Monoline is we are taking a different approach at underwriting than I think a lot of competitors out there. I think I wanted to join Monoline because they're giving me the space to really redefine what underwriting looks like. I think one of the most important things when it comes to an agent and underwriter relationship is that we want to work with you. We don't want to work against you. Mm-hmm. So I think finding solutions for these harder to place ones, even if it's, hey, we can't offer the full limits right now because they're kind of teetering those lines of being a little bit too highly visible or becoming a little bit too popular right now and starting to build that. But I want to be able to say, but hey, we'll offer you $3 million this year. Let's flag it for renewal, make sure that they're good. And then let's look at offering higher limits, where I think where other carriers sometimes it's very black and white and it's just a yes or no. And so I think it's really fun to come in as an underwriter here and kind of redefine underwriting again. And, that's one thing that we really pride ourselves when I say we're bringing new school technology with this old school value is that we want you to be able to feel like you can pick up the phone and call me and that you're going to have somebody answer to.
Mhm.
Like, even if it's not me, we have an amazing team at Monoline. I wish I had another hour just specifically to talk about each person on this team and what values they're bringing. But we are just such a well-oiled machine when it comes to the teamwork and the communication behind the scenes, because we want to provide the best for our agents because they're the ones that matter to us. So I think it's just so important to us. Like, again, we want to work with everybody. We don't want to work against anybody. And again, we just want to bring that educational value back to this industry because umbrellas are becoming popular again. And you're holding these webinars, right, of how to write an umbrella.
Right.
And 5 years ago, people were like, we don't need to know this. We'll just package it. It's all staying together. Why do we need to know? And now, because it's becoming so important, it's that educational piece that's just really, really, really important to us right now. So we love doing these and we love being able to help, even if we aren't a solution for your client. Give me a call and I'll try to help you find a solution elsewhere, or help you better explain why it's not fitting or what they can do. But we're really, really here just to help the agent out.
Yeah, I mean, as a former underwriter myself, I appreciate when underwriters embrace what I always like to call the art and science of underwriting, because there's the issues, did you check all the boxes, but if you can't say yes or you can't say no, whatever the expected answer is, if we can talk through the issue, if you can explain it to me, I may not be able to say yes to this, but I can say yes to this and then look down the road. Because honestly, if rather than a zero, not being able to pick up an umbrella at all, if somebody could pick up 1 or 2 mil, get a lower limit than what they'd originally wanted, it makes them that much easier if they need to go to somebody else to pick up an excess on top of that too.
100%. And I think that's something that's the approach that we want to take. And we're just being really smart when it comes to underwriting too, because this product is amazing, but we want to be stable. We want to be that long-term goal or that long-term product for everybody. So we're still working with everybody, but we're underwriting this still really smart, because I think a lot of people always ask, why are you guys coming in a time where everybody's kind of pulling out? And it's like, well, one, there's never going to be a good time to jump into insurance. I think we all know that. But I think, two, when you have people in the background who are really taking this seriously and being smart about the risks that they want to put on their books, that's what's going to make this product stable for everybody across the books too. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Janessa, thanks so much for your time today. Thanks for a great session, How to Write Umbrella. Thanks for being with us with the after show. It's been a great conversation, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, thank you. No, this was great. Thank you so much for having us on. We loved doing this. So yeah, thank you, Patrick.
So on behalf of Janessa, I'm Patrick, and thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next time on the next Academy of Insurance After Show. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.